Now, I hate to be right all the time, but the reality is I don't. If you guys were on my live stream, you'll remember that I talked about women that chase criminals or women that chase the aggressive, more bad boy type men. And don't get me wrong, you'll get the Karens that'll say, no, JB, you're wrong. You're just being sexist. You're being this, you're being that. Well, this story kind of proves me right. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's flown under my radar because this has actually been talked about a little bit. And it's going to be the Kentucky woman that has fallen in love with Bryan Kohberger. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time. Let's get right on into it.
Bring it back.
Nice guys finish last is what they've said. And I'm here to tell you that is very much so the case. That's why I'm a fucking asshole. And I've always been an asshole. And it's really funny that when these types of things are discussed, you always get women that will come out of the blue, men that will come out of the blue and deny the whole situation. They will deny that what I am saying is true. The reality of this is women love the perception of power. Women love, well, by nature, they love men that they believe are powerful, can provide and protect. Now, I'm not saying under any circumstances that Bryan Kohberger is that alpha male. By any means, it's clear that Bryan Kohberger is the exact opposite. However, sometimes you can commit acts that put off the perception that you're aggressive, dominant, a protector, a leader, a alpha. It's not, women don't know how to always read that. Let's just call it what it is. And I think that's what we're dealing with in this situation currently right now. Now, what you see over my shoulder is this whore from Kentucky. Now, how do I know she's a whore from Kentucky? Clearly by the way she dresses, it's clearly a whore from Kentucky. This woman has a tendency to write criminals, to get involved with criminals, and now she's once again doing it with Bryan Kohberger. We're going to get into this because some of you guys have seen this story, but I have not put in my take on it. But I will tell you that in the stream that we just did, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, we were talking about this very subject. We were talking about how women tend to, even if they go for the good guys, they tend to fantasize about the bad guys. I cannot tell you how many wives that I've fucked. And I'm just being honest, I haven't always been a conservative, straight arrow, moral type of guy. So in my past, I cannot tell you how many wives I've fucked of men that was going off and doing their career, and while they were gone, here I was selling dope or whatever it was I was doing. I was the dick available. I was the bad boy, and those women would easily slide me in there while their men were off at work. It's just the way it worked. It's just the way it is. I'm warning you men now, if you don't have a little bit of aggressiveness, if you don't have a little bit of testosterone in you, then that same thing can happen to you. Now, most women tend to not necessarily make that move. But when you're dealing with clout chasers, groupies, there's groupies in everything. There's groupies in the YouTube game. Trust me, I'm dealing with them right now. There are groupies in the serial killer world. There's groupies in the musician world. There's groupies everywhere. There's always women that want to latch on to whatever the power they perceive you to have. And when you're looking at someone like Bryan Kohberger, that's in the news all the time, you see his face everywhere, you're going to naturally find women, especially women that follow true crime, things of that nature, you're going to at least find one or two out of the group that become attracted to that spotlight. And I believe wholeheartedly that is what we have here with this whore that just, she can't take a fucking picture without her titties all out, which is fine, but don't get mad when you look at it as just a whore or a piece of meat. That's all I'm saying. We're going to take a look at a lovesick Kentucky woman who claims that accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger is the perfect man for her and her divine masculine counterpart. And I'm bringing that up. It's funny because the headline immediately talks about that, right? And is writing love letters to him and in jail. Now, here's kind of the thing. I blame a lot of you beta males. I blame a lot of you soft-ass dudes. A lot of you more pansy, homo, limp-wristed ass dudes. I believe you. I blame you completely, because we have lost so much masculinity in this country that women like this, who are seeking masculine partners, that are seeking high tea, they don't know where to look. They truly believe that Bryan Kohberger has high tea. They truly believe that this young man, who clearly was kind of a loner, clearly, I'm not going to say an incel, but because he did this act, and they're so confused about what a man is, what a woman is, who's actually alpha, who's beta, because there's so much of a pussification going on in this country right now, they don't really know. So the perception is of Bryan Kohberger is that he's aggressive. The perception is that he's an alpha. Even though it's kind of a false perception, because just because someone kills 4 people, if he did this, it does not mean that he's not. Trust me, he wouldn't do that. Do you believe that Bryan Kohberger would go in a house with 4 dudes and try the same shit? No, that's why he scoped out a house with 4 chicks. The whole Ethan thing, in my opinion, was a complete accident. And I'm not even saying Bryan Kohberger did this. I'm using the assumption that he did it based on everything that's going on. But so my take on this is, immediately, if you look at the words that was used, divine masculine counterpart. And it's because of this fucked up world right now where masculinity and femininity is so fucking goofy. Nobody knows who's masculine, who's feminine. Do you all even know what the difference is in a man and a woman? They say there's a bunch of fucking genders now. So ultimately, we live in a situation where true masculinity isn't recognized at all. And so you get goofy broads like this broad right here that believe that Bryan Kohberger is the divine masculinity for her. And once again, you've seen this a lot over the years. They mistake criminality for aggressiveness, because a lot of you men, you are low T, you have no aggressiveness, you don't know how to fuck these women, and so ultimately they run to who they perceive as the bad boy. Not always, I'm generalizing, but in situations like this is exactly what it is. Now, while you're sitting there asking them, excuse me, ma'am, do you mind if maybe I can get fellatio? Someone like me is saying, come here, bitch, suck my dick. And trust me, a lot of times they want to be treated like that, even if you think they don't. Brittney Hislope, age 35, started posting her infatuation January 4th on Facebook. The love-struck single mom from Kentucky said that she hopes that he feels the same. Well, I'm sure he does. He's in jail right now. I'm sure that if you start sending him pictures like that, he'll be right on you. I know I would if I was in jail. She claims to have sent Kohberger love letters and sultry photos to him in jail. A Kentucky woman reveals that she is lovesick over accused by IDAHO killer Bryan Kohberger, describing him as the perfect man for her and her divine masculine counterpart, and hope he feels the same way. She's a single mom. Oh, gee, I would have never guessed that this was a single mom. Never would have guessed it. Anyways, of a 16-year-old boy who has been writing love letters and sending sultry photos of herself to the alleged killer. Kohberger, age 28, has been locked up at the Latah County Jail since January 5th after he was formally charged in the fatal stabbing of 4 college students. Kaylee, well, we already know the names. He is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder. We already understand this. The love-struck mom began sharing her infatuation with the alleged killer on January 4th, and a lengthy... How is that possible? How is that possible? Oh, that's right. He didn't get to Latah County Jail until the 5th. I forgot he was locked up in Pennsylvania for a few days. In a lengthy 2,550-word post that she has never spoken with, or she's never spoken or met him. In one post, she writes, one day to describe my feelings for him, one way over the last week or so, is kind of like being lovesick. And in another, she refers to a lovemaking scene in the 1987 vampire film The Lost Boys, stating that I want to be with my love interest Bryan in those ways. And I'm going to be honest. The true crime community and these types of, look, man, I'm a horror movie nut. And I'll tell you now, sexually, I'm not normal. I'm going to let you know this now. And I honestly think that some of these dark corners of the earth, it breeds shit like this. I'm not surprised at all that this woman, if she really feels this way. Just because judging off some of her writings with other people and some of this post, look, man, sometimes I think that we get into a dark place. I get into a dark place. I like fucking in cemeteries. There's a lot of things like this, right? And so I think it's actually pretty normal when you got, let's be honest here, we're all true crime people. No, don't get me wrong. You get other people that say they want to solve the case. But most of us, I believe, watch this kind of content or get involved in this type of genre because we're kind of dark. We like watching horror movies. We like watching things about serial killers. We like watching court TV. We like reading up on these types of tales. Then you got people that take it an extra step darker, like myself, perhaps this woman, and it becomes a different form of entertainment. It's an expression of who we are. And so, I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's very possible that she's in love, but I also understand groupies and clout chasers. I can tell you just from my own life, it's everywhere. And so, like, when you look at a situation like this, what makes me think that she isn't really into Bryan is some of the things we're going to be reading here in a second. So let's continue, okay? She's not bad. She's not bad at all. If Bryan was an incel before, he's not going to be one now. And I told you this in the live stream. I said, Bryan's going to get more pussy now than he ever got before. Because some of you bitches is crazy. Let's just be honest. Some of you broads are fucking nuts. And I mean, I like it. Because you saying broads that'll fuck him will fuck me. I'm just being honest. In a recent post, she spoke about her sensations and desires and shares previous relationships that she had that didn't work out and calls Kohberger her twin flame. That's crazy. Sorry, my nose is running. I legitimately just had a chick call me her twin flame yesterday. That's crazy to hear that exact verbiage. Chaos? Girl, what kind of fucking crazy shit you on? Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to this. Because they always get all poetic and shit. They do. Like, to them, they genuinely believe. We'll leave that alone. With me being deprived of love and sex life for so long, she says, and only wanting... Come on, man. I don't believe that at all. I don't know why women say that. Women, we really don't believe you're not fucking. Can anybody look at the pictures from this goofy whore and believe she's not sucking dick? Am I the only one here that looks at the images of this fucking slut and thinks to myself, nah, she's celibate? Am I the only one that looks at this and says, no fucking way? God damn. Nose, I don't know what the fuck. No, I don't do cocaine. So anyway, with me being deprived of a love and sex life for so long, and only wanting one with someone I truly want wholeheartedly, with my feelings for Bryan, I've had to be true to myself in reaching out to him. She wrote in a post on Friday, giving an insight on why she feels as she does and how she has added hearts and a pair of lip stickers to a mugshot that she said it penetrated something in me emotionally. Right, we know. That's a good one, though. Some people may not understand that with Bryan being my love interest that I'm fixated on, I don't think of being with others in the way that I think of being with him. Why do you women always say that? It's so hilarious. I haven't had sex in so long and I can't because all I can think about is you. Bitch, you just you just found out who I was. You know what I'm saying? But I can't believe it's 2023. And women really want us to believe that they've just been saving themselves I've been saving myself for someone like you. No, let's be honest. You had dick in your mouth last month, but you want me to believe you're more innocent than you are. But I digress. Let's get back to this. These people are fucking clowns. Anyway, she wrote, some people may not understand that we already did that. Thoughts of being, hold on. Let me scroll down. Thoughts of being with him also give me sensations I wouldn't get thinking of someone else. God, Jesus. People always say that. Because I have deep feelings for Bryan, and I'm fixated on him, although I don't know how he feels about me, and if there's someone else he wants instead. Well, bitch, he's never talked to you. Even though that wouldn't be ideal for my divine masculine counterpart to be that way. You get it, right? Someone this fucking nuts. Yeah. There's something wrong with these broads. Like, in love with someone she's never talked to, doesn't know, has never seen, has never received correspondence from, does not even know that he even knows she exists. Although, when I have thoughts of being with him in certain ways, it gives me bodily sensations that are real. Although you may not understand what I'm meaning. I'm also feel a love for him that isn't just sexual in nature. And this is another thing. You ever notice that some women like overshoot their shot? Like they really want you to believe it's not about sex. They really want to know. I'm not about sex. Look at me. Even though I got my titties all out in the pictures. I'm not about sex. Stop it. Stop it. Anyways, as I've know before, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. The mugshot of him that I added hearts to and a pair of lip stickers, seeing that picture for the first time affected me. Before I added the stickers to it, and it penetrated something in me emotionally. No, that was your toy, lady. Come on, man. You can't tell me this isn't some whore that's random, that's regularly sucking dick. You can't tell me this, okay? I mean, I'd like to hope she is, because that's some good shit going to waste. But anyway, Kohberger's like, where were these hoes at when it's like, where were these hoes at when I was out? There'd be 4 people still alive. Brittney, you could have saved, listen, bitch, you could have saved 4 lives if you just would have went and sucked this dick earlier. What the hell is wrong with you? Son of a bitch. So, it's almost hilarious. She does look like she's a little nuts, though. Hislope talked about the astrological. Why do women always... Women, why are you guys so fucking nuts? Every woman I've talked to, just since I was single, we're talking about just since December, why are all of you so fixated on astrological signs? It's weird. That's the first sign the bitch you're talking to is a nut job. What's your sign? She don't know. But they all think they're like spiritual guides. They all think they're psychics and shit. They all think that they have they read a couple fortune cookies in their life and they believe there's some sort of connection based on when you were born. All of them. Almost all these women. Ask them. How many times, men, and I'm being dead honest with you, how many times has a woman asked you what's your astrological sign? Now, ladies, I'm going to ask you a question. How many times has a dude ever asked you? When's the last time you had a man be like, baby, what's your sign? It's never happened. We don't do that shit at all. They all swear to God they're fucking psychics. Then let me ask you psychic bitches something real quick. How come none of your previous relationships worked out? If you're so goddamn psychic, how come none of your previous shit worked out? How come you didn't foresee that shit coming based on astrological signs? Just curious. You would think that shit would work. Just like the spirit boxes. How come none of the spirit box motherfuckers ever solve any crimes? I thought this shit was real. Okay, let's continue. Hislope talked about astrological sign they both share, the water sign, Scorpio, and their alleged connection. Ah, Jesus. She also talked about his physique and wondered if he was getting the letters she was sending. I'm not just saying it for the reason of me reading that the Scorpio male has a penetrating gaze. She loves the word penetrate. You can't tell me this bitch ain't taking dick. She says the word penetrate way too much. And that's his zodiac sign based on what I know. But I've noticed something penetrating about that. Another penetration had... No, I want you to see this shit. We're going to read this paragraph. Okay? I'm not just saying it for the reason of me reading that the Scorpio male has a penetrating gaze, penetrating one, and that his zodiac sign based on what I know, but I've noticed something penetrating too, about that photo. And it is also seemed that his eyes have penetrating, 3, as well as when I looked at since. She don't even know how to write. Let's just call it what it is. It's that Kentucky shit. But it has felt like he and I are connected in some way when I also feel a penetration 4, from his eyes in that picture. That bitch using the word penetration 4 times. 4 times in a sentence with no puncture, in a paragraph with no periods. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of commas in the word penetration 4 times. With him sitting down in the picture, I like being able to see more of his body and arms also. Well, that's awesome. I don't like how, although it's good that I think of certain possibilities, I don't know if there's any way for Bryan to know about what all I say on here. And then I have the concerns about someone interfering with the letters I mail him, which I hope never happens. I got some news for you. They are interfering with the letters. Let's be honest here, okay? People believe this dude, listen. People in the jail, a lot of times they're scumbags. In the mailroom, let me explain this to you. Inmates run the mailroom. If you don't think inmates are going to fuck with Bryan Kohberger's mail, and by the way, he's probably in the hole anyway. Bryan Kohberger is probably in the hole, not able to receive mail. I'm just being dead honest. Bryan Kohberger's probably currently in the hole, unable to receive mail. But even if he wasn't, it's inmates in the mailroom. And yes, inmates will fuck with your shit. They'll take it out, they read it, your pictures will be in their hands. I'm just being honest with you. But I know if he's my true love, then there wouldn't be any woman he'd want to be with like he would be with me. He doesn't know you, bitch. It is unclear if Kohberger has been receiving any of Hislope's heart-sick letters in his prison cell. When DailyMail.com reached out to Hislope, she did not respond. Oddly enough, this guy right here, his name is Cody Hall, age 33. He was jailed for fatally shooting a 50-year-old man in Kentucky and attacking the man's sister and another woman with a machete. Now, here's her post on Cody Hall. This is a photo of Cody Hall. I used to visit him in jail a few years ago. Oh, shit. I used to visit him in jail a few years ago. He had shorter hair. After this picture was taken out of him at jail, I was truly and deeply in love with him when I was visiting him at jail. And I thought he had feelings for me as well, but he may not have. Not only did a couple of the guards at jail treat me harshly over Cody, but other people did as well when it came to Cody. I wasn't being rude to those people. I was treated rudely and harshly but for some reason, I was treated that way over Cody. I don't know if he knows that or not. I don't know how he's doing now and if he's in a relationship or not. But I want him and others to know that Cody is the one I fell deeply in love with and felt a connection with after being alone for a while and single and longing for true love. Shut up. The love I felt for Cody was real and true. Ain't that odd? Ain't that odd how all these women feel so much love that's deep and true? But they try to convince you that you're the one true one. Wasn't you just saying this to another motherfucker? Wasn't you just saying these exact words to another motherfucker? Like, it's clear this woman likes people in jail. It's clear. All right? Shit. It's not hard to understand. He supposedly blocked me from visiting him years ago. But I later found out that it may have been his mother that had something to do with it instead of Cody. That's not true. Family cannot change your visiting list. Only the inmate himself can change the visiting list. Just so you know. The only person that can alter your visiting list in jail or your phone list is you, is the inmate. So chances are he did block her. Instead of Cody. I wanted to be devoted to him in a committed relationship. I loved him a lot and wanted to be with him. He may not like me at all, but I hope he's doing okay and he knows my feelings for him were true and deep, and I don't want him to think bad of me. On my first Halloween movie by John Carpenter, after the movie goes off, I told you she was a horror movie person. It shows John Carpenter talking as well about the making of it. And John Carpenter was older. And I told my son Damien, she named her fucking son Damien. She named her son Damien. Told you. Told you these bitches is, shoo, they're gone. I gotta admit, crazy bitches have the best pussy though. I told my son Damien that he reminds me of an older version of Cody, meaning that's how Cody may look when he gets older. I thought Cody was absolutely gorgeous, and I think he will be when he gets older too. And I also want to add, hold on. You told your son Damien that John Carpenter reminds you of Cody when Cody gets older? Man, this bitch is gone. This bitch is nuts. She writes books on Facebook. Kohberger has not been the first alleged murderer she has swooned over. In 2018, she declared her love to Cody Hall, who was jailed for fatally shooting a 50-year-old man and attacking the man's sister and another woman with a machete. Cody Hall blocked her. You know you ain't shit when a dude in prison for murder blocks you. Ladies, you know as a broad, you ain't shit when a dude blocks you. He's in prison for a long time. He's like, nah, I ain't got time for that bitch. I ain't got time for that bitch at all. Meanwhile, Kohberger, this is moving on with this. I want to show you guys something else before I give you guys my final commentary here. By the way, I'll try to be live in a little bit. An update in the case versus IDAHO versus Kohberger, right? The state itself has now requested discovery from the defendant, meaning Kohberger's attorneys would have to disclose and share any evidence. This is a big story. They plan to share at trial in his defense. Kohberger's attorneys responded to the request by stating that the defendant does not have books, papers, documents, photographs, copies, portions thereof in the possession of the defendant at this time, which will be submitted at the time of the trial. Kohberger's attorneys also submit that there is currently no physical or medical exams, scientific tests, or witnesses that will be called to the defense. So I want you to understand what this is saying. This is saying the defense has nothing. I'm shocked. The defense has not one piece of evidence, not one scientific study, the defense has nothing. I read this and I was shocked. They have nothing, not a single piece of evidence to turn over to the prosecution during discovery. I'm a little nervous right now. I think that Kohberger I understand we thought Ann Taylor was great. But listen, man, they have nothing to turn over for discovery. That means the defense has nothing, no witnesses, nothing to present at all. That means they're going to make an opening statement, cross-examine, and then make a closing statement. They're not going to, right now, currently, they're not going to introduce any evidence in defense of Bryan Kohberger. That is bizarre. Guys, I want to show you something else that's interesting. University of Idaho murders case discussion. I want you to see this right here. I'm curious about this. This comes from vinelink.com. Of course, the dates may change, but I want you to see this. Court event for Bryan Kohberger was scheduled on June 27, 2023 at 9 a.m. Now, I'm curious what that means, because I know when we did the stream yesterday, it said, or whenever it was, it said 10 a.m., so maybe that's what it was. It switched to 10 a.m., but I'm curious what that means. Why would they remember what I tell you about all legal documents, verbiage matters. Court event for Bryan Kohberger was scheduled on June 27th at 9 a.m. I'm curious why that is now was. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not surprised at all about this woman. I'm not surprised at all about this situation. I told you that's how some of these broads are. I told you in the live stream, Bryan Kohberger will get more pussy thrown in his direction than he ever got before. And a lot of you said, no way, no way. Listen, man, it's nature. It's nature. Women like alpha males. And I'm not saying Kohberger's an alpha male, but he could be perceived that way based on the aggression that it took to kill 4 people. I personally don't see him as one. I personally don't see Kohberger as a tough guy at all. I just don't. But that's just me. That's just me. I've been in prison, and I'm telling you that he doesn't look like anyone that anybody would look at seriously and consider like an alpha or a tough guy. I don't think he's going to have a good time in prison if he goes. But that's just my take. Listen, I'm not going to knock these bitches. I'm not going to knock them. Women like what they like. If you like aggressive men, it's natural. So you women that do like Bryan Kohberger, I won't knock you at all because I think it's actually very, very natural for you to want to be with what you perceive to be the alpha males of the species, the more aggressive ones of the species. I'm not mad at you at all. But in this situation, I don't think it's that. I think this is a crime groupie. I think this is clearly a groupie that involves herself or falls in love with men that she knows will never be released ever, so she never has to deal with them. You know, she likes to be the apple of someone's eye that's in prison that's going to jerk off to her little whore photos. I mean, hell, I would have. But anyway, that's in my opinion what this is. I wish her the best. I hope her and Kohberger make it. They work it out. They do whatever they do. I don't really care. But the reason I'm even making this video is because this is something I haven't covered yet. And we actually talked about this exact scenario in the last live stream. You guys can go check it out. But to the audience that was watching that live stream, I told y'all. Now y'all see it if you didn't know the story already. So it is what it is. Young woman from Kentucky that could barely write, but she writes a whole fucking lot, right? Let me know in the comment section what you think. I know a lot of you ladies are gonna be mad. You're gonna try to fight up against it. You're gonna try to deny what I'm saying is true. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And let me guess, you've been waiting and you ain't fucked nobody in 5, 6, 3, 4 years either. You've been waiting on your soulmate. Guys, if you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Show your boy some love. I appreciate every last one of you. Big shout out to the Gun Squad. I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do without you, so thank you guys for supporting the channel. Guys, good morning. I will be back with another video. We'll be talking about Ethan's family speaking on Dylan in the next video. Try to be live at 10 o'clock this morning. We'll see. Maybe we'll talk about this and some other things. I don't know. There's just not a lot of news going around in this sector, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to support the channel, hit the links down below. I love you guys. Peace out.